Hey, Adam.
What's up?
Are you free?
Yeah, I feel free.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm Adam Manis,
And I'm Peter Martin.
and you're listening to the You'll Hear It podcast.
Daily jazz advice coming at you.
Freely coming at you from the great state of Missouri and the great city of St. Louis at our great studio here at Open Studio at the great Steinway & Sons Piano.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say we were coming at you from New Hampshire because you know what their state motto is?
Is it the live free or
Die.
die?
Yeah.
That's a little intense.
That's a little intense, but that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about free practice. That seems like a state that would embrace that, right?
Practice free or die.
That's right.
Wait, that's no.
No, we're not going to go that far, but we are going to hopefully get into some areas. Is this from a question, or is this is something we sensed our listeners wanted to hear, I think?
So our friend Homero Lubambo,
Oh, right. That's right.
the great Homero
The great
Lubambo,
Homero.
great guitarist. He was in town this past week, and I was talking to him about his practice routine, if he would want to do a video on the practice routine, and he said, I don't know if that's a good idea because I don't practice how I think a lot of people practice. But I think actually a lot of people think their practice routine is different from everybody else. We all think that we have some kind of inferior practice routine. But Homero was talking about that he doesn't just run scales or practice voicings.
He's too good for that.
He might be.
He's mastered all that stuff.
But he just starts playing to get ideas in a kind of a free-form way.
Yeah.
Then finds something that interests him. This is almost like Montessori practicing right here.
It is.
My kids are in elementary school. I know all about this.
Well, I mean, I'll often think of Romero as being like the world's oldest Montessori student. And he plays with blocks a lot on the road, I've noticed.
Yeah.
Multicolored blocks.
But, I heard him talk about this, and I said to myself, I used to do this so much when I was younger. And
Yeah.
I'm so much more structured now, and I think structure is absolutely essential, and it's great because it keeps us going. And some days that you don't want to think about anything, you just want to plug and practice something.
Yep.
But I think it's rejuvenating.
Yeah.
To just start playing and see what happens, and then find something that interests you that maybe you can't do, but you want to be able to do, and just keep it going. See if you can practice it.
Yeah, and I think one way to look at this is to give it just a little bit of structure. Is it's a great way to either connect or reconnect yourself with your instrument in a very natural, hopefully an organic way. And that being that you're either you're playing things that feel really good and sound really good, some kind of combination. You're not worried about all the things that we always say to worry about. But I think this is also why you see some more advanced players. I really do think that you can kind of get to the level where this can be most of your practice outside of specific things. I mean, this is very high level. This is
if you don't know your mixolydian, your dominant scales, your mixolydian scales, work
if
on
you don't know
those
your basic guitar voicings, don't be trying to feel it all day. But once you feel not about mastering everything, but you're most stuff, and you're able to learn music you need to do for gigs. I mean, we still want to be learning music all the time, whether it's for a gig or for ourselves or working on things, and of course we do that. But in terms of staying connected with the instrument and furthering the depth of your connection with the instrument, I think that this is something that can be a kind of a big part of your practice. But even at the more beginner intermediate levels, to at least do a little bit of, all these things, it's never binary. It's never we don't do any free form practice and then we become masters and then we only do free form. No, it's never that. You like that? It was my non-free form, and then I got all relaxed. No, but I mean, we want to incorporate elements of this. And so an analogy I would say, and you can, because all things on this podcast are unrehearsed, raw. No. We keep it raw up in here. Yeah. So we haven't vetted this, but you can let me know what you think.
That's
of this.
weird. I've been reading a script all year, and no,
not me. No, but I would say an analogy for this would be, you're a basketball player and you're working on your skills, but let's say you're LeBron James. You still need to do your drills and do put up 100 or probably however many free throws and all that. But if he just comes to the court and just shoots and has a good time, and wherever the ball bounces, he just shoots and dunks and just runs around like a kid, kind of playing the game. He's also he's at the level where he can do that, and his performance that evening is probably not going to suffer.
I think this is also a great way to help you develop your own sound, because if you are just experimenting and just playing freely and trying to find things that resonate with you, you're naturally going to gravitate towards certain things, and then the key is then to work those out so that they become a part of you. And I think that's what Romero was trying to say. And what I would like to emphasize too is this doesn't have to be a free form Keith Jarrett, Cone concert kind of experience where you're just playing freely, turn off the lights, and smoke something, and then just start playing or whatever. Like,
was he high on Cole concert?
No, I doubt it. Okay. But you can start playing, find some things that you're like, oh, that's so cool. What is that? Or not even say what is that, but then
I'm just gonna keep talking. I'm gonna give you a little background.
You start playing, you find something that you think sounds beautiful or interesting, or that you might want to use, and then you can work that through in different ways. Okay, so now we're on a free-form cold concert type of... I'm just going to shut up and let you play good. Andrew, can I borrow your lighter, please? Thank you. Okay, so for me, you've already developed these like repeating note things. Mm-hmm. That could be your practice session.
Right.
Is practicing repeating notes, doing it in chords, doing it in both hands, doing it on all your fingers, doing it over the bar line, doing it however you can try to get it in your soul. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I love it. I mean, it's kind of a combination of, that sort of refocuses things a little bit towards to some kind of developmental stuff, but you're still kind of having fun. You're taking whatever idea comes first, freeform.
And hey, look, we're the guys who also encourage you to keep some kind of practice journal, right? And like write down what you're going to practice before you practice. So I think there's room for all of this in your routine. And in fact, it's good to definitely break it up.
Well, maybe it could be like you have, we've talked about before, this goes towards a little bit of organization and regiment. But like you would say, have 45 minutes to practice. Maybe the last 10 minutes, you just say, I'm just going to play like this. I'm going to create something. Right. And it doesn't have to be, totally musically edifying to anyone. It's not the kind of creation that you like. That's, I think, what you were saying as far as Cone concert. It doesn't have to be your masterpiece, perfectly crafted from beginning to end, like an audience is there. It's just for you. It could just be something fun, kind of,
And it's also a way that you're going to get ideas. Keep your journal.
Yeah.
And because you're not going to be able to touch on everything that you think of during these sessions, right?
Yeah, you're just getting some shots up, some sets and reps. You still want to do things correctly, but you're not necessarily focused in on the technique side of it.
Yeah, so you can write down an idea that you might not get to flesh out. You can write down maybe a melodic idea for...
Flesh out. Well, if it's bad, you flush it.
Did I say flush out?
Yeah. If it's bad, you flush it down the toilet. If it's good, you flesh it out.
All right, don't write that down. But you know what I mean? Like you're going to get more ideas than you could actually work on.
Of course.
So it's also a good idea to kind of keep track of that.
Yeah. Well, this is good. I mean, this is, I think... again, we've been talking about mindset a lot lately, and I think that that's something really important. And I've been kind of on a quest for this of identifying the kinds of mindset and frameworks that I have that are working well for me, and maybe making some adjustments. And I think as you think about your practice routine for everybody, for all of us, thinking about the different kinds of mindset one can have. It's not only, as you say, the regimented, mindset should and the discipline of that should accompany specific parts of your practice, obviously scales and getting through repertoire and learning a solo, these things that have a beginning and an end.
And for beginning and intermediate players, that can be very important.
Yeah. And don't ever think like, oh, well, it's such a different mindset. I mean, you got to remember, like, great artists and musicians, a lot of times they have another side to them that is very analytical and very exacting. I think that those things work together. And just to apologies for keep going back to the basketball analogy. I love me some hoops. No, but I mean, I heard this great podcast interview with, I don't know if they're the number 134th music podcast or not, but they did have LeBron James on there and his trainer. But like,
we should get LeBron James on here.
We'll get there.
Okay.
We'll get there.
All
right. But the idea was that if you think about, the extreme skill that he has and how he works in such a more regimented way still, especially like with nutrition and working out and like that kind of a thing, but also with specifically like how he spends his days on game days. It's like so specific. But then when you see him play, he plays with a lot of creativity and so I think that it's never like mutually exclusive. It's never like you're turning yourself into a robot by too much. But maybe this little segment of creative practice can help, fire off some electrodes on that side of your brain.
I think it's important. Give it a shot. I think like any of this, man, a certain amount of structure helps with creativity. Yeah. And a certain amount of creativity helps free up the structure.
Yeah. So. I thought you were going to say, like anything, we cannot be legally held responsible for anything we tell you. Your results may vary. We're required to say that by the
that too.
Yeah.
Hey, so we don't have an ending tune for today, but we have more coming in. And if you have one that you'd like to hear at the end of our podcast, we're still accepting them.
We are. You know, we might be putting up a little Adam Manis, and we've never done that, have we?
Whoa, Adam Manis tune?
Yeah.
Oh, we don't want to do that.
We could do that.
No.
Maybe we'll do that today. Let's do that today. What about your tune with the?
What do you? Is that row your boat?
You know the one.
Oh, the Moto tune.
The Moto.
Andrew, put on the Moto tune.
Yeah. Why don't we have that take us out? Because
you'll hear it.